Hi, this is Mark LaRochelle from Productive Computing and Productive Computing University. Thanks for joining us on this video. If you've been using our FMBooks Connector plugin for QuickBooks Desktop and you're moving to the FMBooks Connector plugin for QuickBooks Online, this video is for you. Here is an overview of the development process. At a high level, here's the path. Set up your environment, install both the plugins locally, FMBooks Connector for Desktop and FMBooks Connector Online, side by side, and confirm the QuickBooks Online company is already converted and ready to go. That conversion is usually something the customer handles, not the developer, but either way, you want to start this process with the QuickBooks Online company converted and ready to go. Rebuild your authorization process. This means adding a field to store the token that comes back from the online authorization screen. Duplicate your existing QuickBooks Desktop scripts. Don't edit the originals, work from copies. Then go step by step through those duplicated scripts, migrating each one for FMBooks Connector Online. While working with the script, you'll be going through each step line by line, changing both the plugin function name as well as the field name for each step. The shape of the script stays the same. What changes is what's inside each step. One thing that does work in your favor, field order isn't a strict requirement on the online side, where this was a strict requirement on the desktop side. So let's take a moment and go deeper on two of these aspects. That would be authorization and the actual script-by-script conversion. So authorization changes completely with FMBooks Connector Online. With the FMBooks Connector for QuickBooks Desktop, authorization was simple. You just needed the QuickBooks file open with full access, and the FMBooks Connector would establish that one-time connection, and then you'd have access to the file from that point forward. FMBooks Connector Online works a little differently. It uses a new session management format called OAuth, and here's how it works. First, you call the function PCQO begin session. That launches the user's default browser and opens up into its authorization page. You'll then log into the company you want to connect to and authorize the plugin to exchange data with it. Once you've authorized the file, you'll land on a page on our website that hands you the session ticket, a code that finalizes the authorization. So then you copy that information and paste it into your FileMaker file, where you'll call the PCQO authorize, which verifies the plugin's access. If that verification succeeds, the plugin can now execute requests and process responses. You're now connected. So that's the one-time setup, but sessions don't last forever. So from that point forward, you're managing session data across every subsequent use. After a successful begin session, you'll call PCQO save session info, which generates an encoding string containing everything the plugin knows about the connection. It'll then store that string in a field in FileMaker. Then on future calls, instead of walking the user through the browser authorization again, you'll call PCQO load session info with the stored string, and it reconnects and verifies the session automatically. So, one browser-based authorization up front, and then a save and load pattern for every session after that. And once you authorize the QuickBooks file, you don't need to authorize it for every user connecting. You're authorizing the company file, not each individual user. Now for the scripts themselves. The overall structure holds up. Build a request, execute it, walk the response. What changes is what's inside each step. Function names change, PCQB becomes PCQO, and most functions have a direct equivalent. Some retire entirely. A handful of new ones show up, including batch processing and functions to email or download an invoice PDF directly. Field names change too, because QuickBooks Online follows into its newer data structure. Name becomes display name, first name becomes given name, last name becomes family name, reference number becomes doc number. These aren't optional renames. The online API simply expects different field names than desktop did. And line items, invoice lines, payment lines, anything with a header and a detail now use nested related records. You'll add a related line record, fill out header information, declare a detail type, and then add a related record of that detail type and fill out specific fields for it. It's more structured than desktop's flatter approach, but once you've built one, the pattern repeats. One change worth flagging on its own because it trips people up: how you reference related records. In QuickBooks Desktop, you had a choice: reference by an item's name or by its internal list ID. With QuickBooks Online, that choice goes away. Everything is referenced by value, meaning its ID. If your desktop implementation was matching or looking for things by name, that logic has to change to work with IDs instead. So, it's worth checking your scripts for name-based matching before you assume a field is a simple rename. If all you have is a name to match on, you'll need to query for that item by name, retrieve its ID, and use that ID from that point forward. In fact, it's worth going ahead and storing the QuickBooks Online ID now for any items where you currently only have a name on file. It saves you a lookup later. And here's a practical tip: keep your original FMBooks connector scripts untouched as a reference while you build the new ones. This is a line-by-line translation. You're going step by step through the old script, and for each one, finding the equivalent function call and the correct field names in FMBooks Connector Online. Once the migration is complete, the scripts are converted, and your solution is calling FMBooks Connector Online instead of the original, the old FMBooks Connector scripts are safe to remove whenever you or your client are ready. In terms of effort, we work off a simple rule of thumb. Migrating a script to FMBooks Connector Online typically takes about 50% of the time it originally took to build the same script for QuickBooks Desktop. That varies from person to person and project to project, but as a general rule, that's what to expect. There's also housekeeping most people don't plan for. If you use Intuit's migration tool, it builds an ID mapping table behind the scenes. You'll do a one-time pull of the new online IDs for every table in FileMaker, and once that's done, retire the old desktop IDs so nothing else references them by mistake. If you want to go deeper on any of this, a few resources can help. Our migration guide covers the full function-by-function mapping between FMBooks Connector and FMBooks Connector Online, side by side, so that you can see exactly what replaces what. For field-level detail beyond what's in the guide, Intuit's own QuickBooks Online reference documents every field for every entity type. That's the place to confirm a field name before you build against it. If you'd rather watch someone build scripts to work with QuickBooks Online, our productive computing course, Connect FileMaker to QuickBooks Online, walks through a live integration from start to finish. And if you want to see working code, our demo file has real examples already built. Contacts, invoices, and items both pushed and pulled, so you can see actual requests and responses instead of just reading about them. That's the migration from start to finish. From the setup of your environment, through authorization, through rebuilding your scripts, one function at a time. If you'd rather hand it off, we're glad to help. As always, thanks for watching, and we look forward to providing any assistance we can with your QuickBooks integration projects.